Okay. Welcome to episode 76 of the Coscast. Yay! I am your main host, as always, Pixie Does Cosplay, and with me I have my fellow co-hosts.
Annabella Cosplay.
And Agnesia Cosplay.
Yay! And also, today we have some wonderful guests. We are joined by Silja Danielsen, cosplayer and makeup artist,
Hello.
Cosplay, and Sample Cosplay. Welcome, ladies!
Thank you.
Hello. So,
Thanks for
today
having us.
we're going to talk about cosplay contests. Yeah. It's also been a huge topic in the cosplay community the past year. Maybe not as sore a subject as elitism is, but still a bone of contention for some.
They're somehow related in some topics as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, very true. But before we go into that whole thing, we're going to talk a little bit about our usual segments. So let's dive into cosplay progress. Have any of you worked on anything cosplay related this past week?
I've started planning what I want to use my time on for next year. That may count as cosplay progress, I guess. I haven't really gotten that far, but I've just started to figure out what kind of projects I want to do. And the only thing I've figured out this far is that I want to do something from Overwatch. I'm not sure what, but I want to do something from that game, and I want to build something.
Cool.
That's my two criterias. Other than that, I'm open.
Cool. I'm still trying to figure out if I should drop some of the plans I had from this year and make new ones, or just stick to the plans I already had. Hard choices.
Those are hard choices because it's like once you've set your mind on making something, it's hard to let that go.
Exactly. But then you find something like, oh my god, I totally want to cosplay this and I want to make it right now, but I should do this.
Yep.
But what happens if you kind of wait? If you want to do something now, you want to do it now. If you wait, then something new has come along. So you just keep stalling all your projects, and that's not good either.
No, it's not. I should probably do that. Do the thing you want to do now, because that's what's gonna, give you the most joy, I guess.
Yeah,
Yes.
or you'll just start to end up like me, which is I am in still a dump cosplay-wise, but I have sewn something. Actually, I've sewn a tablecloth and fixed a hole in a pair of pants.
Well, at least you've been crafty. That kind of counts.
Yes, I've done something. Cosplay, but something.
Yeah, you're getting back into your cosplay mojo, like tiny baby steps at a time.
Yeah.
How about
I have started. Well, I'm reading through all of Kamui's Warbler book just to like brush up on my Warbler knowledge before I'm gonna make some armor.
Ooh.
I have decided to make one of the known Elsa armor designs because I just wanted to make something, and I think that one is pretty. So I'll be doing that, and I made a plan with my Osomatsu-san group that we will do a really lame ass. We'll make Santa hats in each of their colors, and we'll do like a stream Christmas thing, and it'll be really stupid, but it will be cute.
I want to see that.
Sounds cute.
JL Cosplay Studio asks, what is Overwatch? I don't know if he's serious or not, but it's a game.
He is not serious.
He would know. He would probably know.
He's a troll.
Ryudai says, planning cosplay is the hardest thing about cosplay. Too many, no money, and no time.
Yep.
Very true.
Truth.
That is truth.
So, Sample, how about you?
I haven't made much because of stress and everything, but I ordered a lot of stuff on eBay for my Keith cosplay.
Ooh.
Gonna be fun. So yeah.
And Therese, how about you?
I made progress in the sense that You know, all the stuff that I brought from Oslo to my home in Larvik over summer to work on my NCC costume is now brought back, and I cleaned my room.
Well, that's
tidy and organized now. And that's the extent of my progress.
It sounds amazing. I'm not gonna turn the camera around so you can see my apartment, but it's awful. It's horrible. Everywhere I see, it's just a mess.
Same. I'm glad I'm not at home right now because it's just cosplay mayhem.
I've tidied my office. It is now officially the tidiest part of my house. You guys don't need to see the rest of it, basically. Because I'm a slob. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for Cosplay Progress, I guess. So let's get into the whole news bit. Let's see, where are we? There we go. Yeah, so I read this article on pressfire.no earlier this week that women experience objectification to a larger degree than men on Twitch.
Yes.
Surprise!
Yeah, we couldn't predict that at all.
No.
But I guess it was necessary to post it up in a big article on one of the biggest gaming sites in Norway because men don't believe us when we say it. I don't know what.
Who knows?
I haven't read that article, but does anyone want to take a guess at how the comment section looks?
It might be bad. It might. I haven't checked the comment section. But there are a lot of comments. But I'm not going to read them. I'm just not going to do that.
Don't.
But it's like when we interviewed Princess Frida at Spillexpo, she said that men tend to often try to just kill her when she games because they don't want
They
her
don't want
to
lose to a girl.
Yeah, so she's always a target.
But what they said in the article was that big name female streamers have the most activity in their chat and also has the most objectifying comments. So if you go to a smaller account, there will obviously be less activity.
That's logical.
Yeah, and of course there are some girls who stream with a lot of boob out and some who don't. But honestly, that shouldn't really matter because they're still people. So fuck those guys.
Yep.
No, actually, don't do that.
No, exactly. Don't
That
fuck
might
them.
be the solution.
Just say no.
Ignore them.
Ignore it.
Thank you. That's a much better way of putting it. All right.
Celia, I think there's someone in the comments
What?
talking to you.
I have talked back.
Someone says, "Oh my god, my art hangs in the background. Holy shit!" Lynn Make Stuff says that. Oh, it's Fenris. Yes, I love it so much. It's now permanently a fixture in my office. But
You know, I wish we were in my room because Lynn's stuff is legit all over my walls.
She's so talented, crazy talented. I know Sunniva has one too. She has Cullen, I think. No, Alistair.
No, Alistair.
Yes.
But it's behind this wall, about here, just behind this wall, in the other room.
Kate says, Silje Senpai! So, yeah, people are loving you. Definitely.
I love them too.
Well, over to something a little bit more joyful and maybe innocent, more fun, is cosplay cats. Because who doesn't love that?
I was like, are there cosplay cats?
Yes. This is a No Face cosplay from Studio Ghibli's Chihiro. And Totoro waiting for the cat bus.
Oh.
Let's see if we can get a bigger picture. Yeah, a little bit. It's just too cute. I can't deal with this. So yeah, I thought this would be a nice thing to just put up there after, talking about sexual harassment.
Oh my god.
So who doesn't love that? I especially love the grandma one.
I don't know, the cats might not love it so much.
No, it doesn't look like they're too into it, unfortunately, but someone's having fun out there for sure.
I tried the Darth Vader suit on my pug a few days ago.
How did that go?
Well, I'm gonna post it in a video soon, I think. But I think he might have had the costume on the whole thing for about 3 seconds.
Oh, you did not appreciate it, in other words. But I mean, that's one of the many good reasons to have a pet is so you can dress them up. You don't have kids, you do it to your pets.
True.
Our next piece of news is that our partners over at Nerdeportalen.no have set up their own Twitch stream. So if you want to follow them, you can. And I'm going to leave a link in the description underneath this video after the show, so you can all check that out if you would like to. And yeah, that's pretty much all for the news. But before we go into our main theme, I'm also going to mention that we're launching our Christmas contest today.
Yep, yep.
It's not a huge deal, but we just thought that people could post their Christmas photos. It doesn't have to be cosplay. It could just be you in a Santa hat. Just post it on Instagram and hashtag it with Coscast Christmas, and we will randomly select a winner next Sunday who'll get a surprise package from us for Christmas.
Oh my god, that's cool.
Yeah. So we hope that as many as possible participate. You can also post it on Facebook. Just hashtag us and we'll find you. So hashtag Coscast Christmas, and you'll be...
Just send us a message or something. Yeah. We'll find it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's move into the main theme, which is cosplay contests. So there's been a lot of talk about it over the past year, that a lot of people are intimidated by them, or they think that they're taking up too much space in the cosplay community, and that a handful of the same cosplayers tend to win over and over again, and lots of different things have been brought up. So today's cosplay actually thought it would be a really good idea if we talked about this subject a little bit today, especially since our last one on elitism went so well. So we thought that was a good idea too.
Yep.
Okay, so let's just move to the first question. Annabella, I figured you could take the first 5 questions.
Sure. Let's talk a little bit about why we think this is an important subject to delve into. So it's not really a question, but why is this such an important subject? This is for everyone. So maybe Therese, you want to start?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm one of the cosplayers I'm like crazy involved in cosplay contests on every level, and that's because like when I started cosplay, that was one of the things that really got me into it and really was so much fun and really motivated me to work and become better and make better costumes. And I think it's just, for me, it's been such a great experience that I get really, really sad when I hear other people say that, you know, they think it's scary or they don't like it because some perceived issue. And yeah, I just think it has the potential to be such a great thing in the cosplay community, that if there are issues, either like with the way we're doing them or with how people experience them, then I think that's important to talk about.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, it's very important, I think, also to just we just have to recognize or whatever that the cosplay community has gone forward, and also in competitions will get harder and harder. When everyone started like 10 years ago or whatever, everything wasn't as easily to find or figure out as it is now, I think. But what kind of experience do you have with cosplay contests? Therese, maybe you want to go first on this?
Oh, it's such a long list. Okay, so I started out in cosplay contests for like about 10 years ago. I've been competing on every level, from like the small conventions to the Nordic Cosplay Championship. I've been judging all across everywhere, also internationally at some point, and I've been organizing the cosplay contest at BansaiCon, at SpillExpo, and various other things.
Cool. And what about you, Sample? What kind of experience do you have with cosplay contests?
Well, I joined my first contest this summer at TourCon. So yeah.
Yeah,
And it
you
was
did
great.
very well. You got an honorable mention.
Yes.
For,
Huh?
It was so good.
Yeah, how did you
It was
feel
very fun.
about?
So
Yeah, did you do you want to compete more or?
what?
After that experience, did that make you want to compete more?
Oh yeah. I'm really hooked, but I haven't had any chance to join any other contests since then. So.
But that's good that it made you feel like you wanted to compete more, and yes. What
It's
about
very
you,
fun.
Celia? Yeah.
I'm one of the dinosaurs. I also started really early. I joined my first cosplay competition 9 years ago, I think, something like that. I just competed like regularly at the different conventions, and I was the first Norwegian representative in Euro cosplay
Awesome.
at MCM in London. And after that, I've done a lot of judging and just a couple of contests here and there. But my main thing now is I really enjoy judging competitions. Both here, I've been in Sweden. I know I'm gonna travel to some more countries next year, so we'll see.
Ooh. Yeah, because I have only seen you in one competition, actually. But I've seen you a lot as a judge.
Like, which one?
The one at Arthicon.
Oh, right, that was fun.
Why do you guys think that the subject of cosplay contest has become such a hot topic in the cosplay community as of late?
I think it's related to the whole criticism, elitism thing. When people start talking a lot about a topic and it gets heated, that's when it gets a lot of attention. So the more angry people are with something, the more it will get talked about.
But how has it come to that?
Who knows? I started a thread here in the cosplay groups not too long ago, wanting to know what people thought about that there are less and less people entering the competitions, just to hear people's thoughts. But there's not just one single thing. I think there's a lot of factors into play here. Yes.
What about you, Therese?
I mean, it might have something to do with the fact that there are some pretty big prizes going on now, compared to when at least me and Silly started, when, you know, you'd win the biggest contest in the country and you get like a goodie bag and be like, yes. And that's fair as well. And also just because, yeah, a lot of what Silly said, really.
Yeah.
I mean, the stakes are definitely higher now, and there is a higher standard, I suppose, that differentiates the winners from the people who don't win.
Well, not necessarily. Having like been involved in almost every cosplay contest, either judging, competing, or just watching this year, the levels aren't that different necessarily. Like when the judges stand up on stages and say like, oh, we had a really hard time, that's not made up. They mean that. It's really difficult.
It is.
So that means it's an even race. So there's a lot of talented people in the Norwegian cosplay community, basically.
Yeah.
A lot of talented people.
There's so many.
And what I find really interesting is that every time I judge, I see someone new with a lot of talent that I haven't seen before. And that's really important.
That's what we need.
Because we want people to sign up for contests, be they just catwalks or performance-centric. No matter which kind, we want people to compete, and not just because it's a competition, but as we talked about last time, because it's a showcase and it's entertainment and a chance to show off what you've done, what you've accomplished. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that later, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot of discussion going on in the chat.
Yeah.
Yes, I saw.
Some people were saying that they find the performance part of the competitions very frightening or scary, and Aslak has said that they've been trying to get performance-centric cosplays running several times, but they always end up with a lack of competitors, and that may be because people are too scared to actually enter.
Yes.
I mean, what I noticed from the comments and what I've noticed from the posts Silje posted in Cosplay Norge as well, is that people have so different opinions on what they want out of a contest. Like, half the people seem to want, like, no more performance heavy, we want that kind of stuff. And half the people want, like, oh, the performances are scary, let's not have those at all. And it's that you can't please everyone. You cannot make a contest that is perfect for everyone, because everyone has different ways of what they want.
Yeah.
I guess it boils down to you as an individual have to take responsibility for your choices and go to conventions where there is a contest that suits you.
Yes.
Instead of trying to force yourself to be in a contest where you don't feel comfortable.
And also, I think a little bit of not everybody knows the differences between all the different contests. Just for me, this is the first year I've been to both ToreCon and BonsaiCon, and both of them have a lot of days with a lot of different types of contests. Before that, I've only been to a one-day con or DesuCon, and they have only had one contest, so I'm used to just seeing one type of cosplay contest. So for me, it was a new thing that they had both like a skit contest, open scene thing where you can show off and do whatever you want, and also you have the your own character thing, and it was so many different types of cosplay contests. So for me, this is the first year and first time I've ever sort of noticed that there's something more than just the cosplay contest.
Yeah.
Which opens a lot of doors for me for next year, which I find is very, very important. So
I mean, I just want to comment on that, because obviously I can only speak for BonsaiCon, but I know ToreCon is doing something similar at least.
They are.
Is that we have the cosplay contest with different levels. We have the open stage, skit contest, style contest, catwalk. Legitimately, we have done whatever we can to make something for anyone. If you have a particular situation or something you want, there will always be something you can enter to get yourself on that stage. And I mean, it's not, I'm not going to say frustrating, but it's kind of, it's difficult to know when people then come and goes like, no, we need this and this and this. It's like, we've tried so hard to accommodate.
yeah.
I promise we're trying to make something for everyone, but it's, we have limited resources.
Yes. But I guess what I'm saying is that I think that maybe the information about the different type of contests are a bit hard to find when you're not looking for it, or when you don't know what exactly you are looking for. Maybe, especially for young cosplayers who hasn't been to that many conventions yet and don't know how they work yet.
Yeah. As Aslak says in the chat, that ToreCon's main competition is shaped largely by the criteria for the NCC, and this is also something to remember, that because BonsaiCon and ToreCon and which is this last one?
Metrocon.
Metrocon, yes. It are all competitions where you qualify for the NCC.
Yeah.
So you have to have that kind of contest in order to choose a winner that's going to be capable to go to the NCC and represent Norway in a good way, I suppose.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of talk about how can you make contests that are good for the people who don't want to focus too much on craftsmanship or don't want to focus too much on performance. But then it's also fair to make it for the people who really want to focus on both those things and really want to heighten their level to as much as they can. I mean, there's a lot of us who do love that kind of contest as well.
I mean, because the roots of cosplay has to do with performance and craftsmanship. Because back in the day, people had to make their own things, or you didn't really have any. You couldn't buy things. It was hard to get a wig. It was hard to get a costume, so you had to make it yourself. And cosplay in and of itself is also based on costume and role play. So it's kind of part of the essence of the pursuit, in my opinion. At least to a large extent. Not saying that everyone has to feel that way or has to do that.
Yes. Just to move on to the next question. Does the cosplay community focus too much on contests, or is it just a natural development?
I don't think there's enough focus at all. But I might be biased because competitions are my baby. So I just want everyone to be really hyped about them, and I don't feel they are, and then I'm sad.
But I guess it's for some people may feel that way.
Yes.
I don't feel that way. I really like the competitions. I think it's really fun, and I think that the whole thing of it is mainly a positive experience for everyone, or it should be at least. But I know that a few people may think it's not.
I get people might think that it is too much because there's a lot of talk about it, but I don't know, personally, it's just because there's a lot of focus doesn't mean it's important or that you have to be involved in this to be part of the community. It's fine, and just being in the audience, I mean, I can't imagine anyone not liking sitting in the audience and seeing all the cool cosplayers on stage. That just does not compute for me.
No,
like,
that's one of the big reasons why we go to conventions is
Yeah.
the contest.
Yes.
It's always the most popular event. So, like, even if you are not the kind of person who wants to go on stage, then that's fine. But I don't know why that would make you feel like the focus on the contests becomes too much.
Well, I also think it's about being selective in what you focus on, because the thing is, if you're not a big contest person, then you can just choose to not focus on that part of the community and just hang out with people and do whatever it is you enjoy doing at conventions. You don't have to be a part of that particular sub-scene, I suppose you could say.
You can even be involved in the social events around the contests, even if you don't participate. I mean, it's such a social thing, because you see someone on stage and you can go up to them after and go like, I really loved your performance or your costume, and that gets you talking, and suddenly, you have the social interaction that a lot of the people who are involved in the contests, myself included, really love.
It's a great way to get to know people, for sure. Just standing in line while you're waiting to get on stage, you talk to people you've never talked to before. I know that Annabella at least has gone through that, because she's competed a little bit more than I have, even though I haven't competed a lot, so that's not hard to beat me. But yeah, it's fun. And I mean, I get nervous like everyone else when I'm supposed to be on stage. I get nervous before I start this show, but once you get it rolling, it's fun.
Yeah.
I don't think I could count how many friends I've met through just standing in line for a cosplay contest.
Yeah.
They're my absolute best friends. Did we meet that way, Celia, or did we not? I can't remember.
It's too long ago.
We're getting old.
But it's really nice because you kind of have this awesome small situation where you just stand and wait, and you have to have some sort of interactions with the people around you, or you don't have to, but it just happens. Last year at Spill Expo, I got to know Cryo K9 Creative, which was awesome. This year I was standing right next to Just Cosplay and Props and Iban Cosplay, and they were really nice, and it was really fun to talk to them. And yeah, you get cosplay friends. Why is just standing and wait in line? It's awesome.
I bonded a lot with one of my friends while we were waiting for the cosplay competition at GeekCon, because she was very new to the cosplay contest experience and she was a bit nervous. So I just kind of talked her through the process before she went on stage, and it really, like, we're really good friends now. So that is one of the pre-contest experiences I have.
Yeah, because you now share something in common that you don't necessarily share with everyone else.
Christina.
Oh, yeah.
This is the same like line experience. Christina is saying in the chat that she's been in line for a competition and ended up helping the girl in front of her with the choreography of her show for the stage.
No.
See, we're not that competitive. That's one of the great parts too. It's like there's no bitchiness or backstabbing. We're all friends even though we're competing against each other.
Yeah, like I think everyone wants everyone to look their best on stage, to be honest.
And Eunice says also the contest I view as a cosplayer's time to shine. Like, show what they have done and how wonderful it is that they get their moment. And we agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Oslak says some cons like ToraCon and BonsaiCon have a huge cosplay-focused program with the competitions taking center stage. And others like GeekCon, DesiCon, or Spill Expo don't have the same milestone kind of thinking. And this is true. They don't feature cosplayers in the same way, but we're still a part of the program and still a big part of the program. But BonsaiCon and ToraCon are cosplay centered. They are for cosplayers specifically, not gamers and everyone else necessarily.
Yes.
So that's a good point. Choose your conventions well.
I would like to say, like, if there's anyone out there who's really nervous about the pressure for the entire cosplay competition thing, but really want to go on stage to have a performance, I would suggest going to KawaiiCon, because we're really laid back, but we really want people to bring performances.
Yes.
Yes.
So we want the entire atmosphere of our cosplay competition to be very comfortable, laid back. Please don't stress out. It's not the end of the world. But if you want to have a kick-ass stage performance, we can make that happen for you because our tech is insane. So
they're really good. Do it.
That's awesome.
I'm just like, yes.
Evelyn also says, like, Yuna, contests for me has been largely to show off the work I've done. It's so good to get positive feedback to the hundreds of hours I've spent with one costume. And Iselin says that what is important is also that every cosplayer on stage gets applause and is appreciated for their work. Which can also be a very big deal, because if you go to BonsaiCon or ToraCon or KawaiiCon, the crowd will cheer for you because they're there for cosplay specifically, while at Spill Expo or other gamer-centered events, the applause might be a bit lackluster. It might not be as, energetic.
A general problem with Norwegian audience is they're so lazy and unresponsive, and it's just a problem. I have no idea what to do with it. I just think they need to be told that you better applaud every single person in here or we will kick you.
We should just stand up as a good example to everybody and scream our lungs out.
I usually do that. I sit in the back and I yell just super loud for everyone, and people just turn around and look at me like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I'm like,
yeah, a couple of people
what is wrong with you?
On site too. We were sitting in the back screaming for everything. I almost lost my voice that weekend. So,
I did that on Spill Expo this year. I was just like, ah! For everybody going on screen. I think the people in front of me were like whispering to each other like, why is she screaming so loudly and stuff like that.
That what it means to be a true geek. Enthusiasm. No, but in fairness, I've been to events in other countries as well, and Scandinavia is not the worst. Norway is by far not the worst. Like, you think Euro cosplay had a better crowd? It does not.
Oh.
Like, Norwegian audiences, at least at the cosplay conventions, tend to be decent.
Yeah.
As long as the hosts get the energy up.
Yes.
Yeah. Agreed.
It's important to have a good host. Luckily, ToraCon and Bonsai have very good hosts.
They do.
Spin Expo had a good host this year as well.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And I haven't been to KawaiiCon yet, but I'm pretty sure you guys have good hosts.
Yes! It was awesome. They do. I've been there. I know.
Have to go next time.
Yeah. You should all go.
Yes, you should all come to KawaiiCon, and if you don't, I will cry.
No,
When is Comic-Con?
It's the last weekend of August.
So it's after TorCon, I think.
It's usually 2 weeks after TorCon, so you have 1 week to like get your stuff back on track, and then go again.
Oh, actually, Starbit Production is saying that she's seen people go on stage and get nothing from the audience, while others got lots. So Norway isn't the worst at. Norway is actually one of the better ones, she says.
Yeah.
Which is good. So we're doing a good job. We just have to do it better.
Yes. Even better. Because it says KawaiiCon has the best hosts. Hearts.
Yes.
And people really want to go to KawaiiCon now. So, and
my job is done. No.
Yes, your job is done.
Next question, I guess. Some contests have a trouble finding enough participants. Why do you think that is?
That was my quest finding out with the threads I posted. Because one of the things I noticed with Spill Expo, which is, I guess, sad for the other non-very huge competitions, that the giant money prize, I think, brought a lot of competitors. Because it was the main prize was 10,000 plus a 5,000 gift card from Nerdeportalen, which is a lot.
Yeah.
Also, it's just a catwalk, so you don't have to do the work of making a show.
Exactly.
Because we did talk to a lot of people who have stage fright and stuff like that, who would never ever go do a performance cosplay show thingy. So I think this is just easier for them as well to show their cosplay.
But this is also a thing. There are a lot of both big and small cosplayers in Norway who don't like doing shows, who are mainly like photo shoot cosplayers or casual cosplayers. Like Karin Lava or Santatori, they don't usually compete because that's not their thing.
Mm-hmm. Which is sad because I want to see them on stage.
Yes, would be fun.
I think Ingrid had a very good point on that as well. It's hard for everyone. Everyone is scared before stepping on that stage. So everyone goes through the same thing. Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I still get stage fright so bad.
Yeah, totally. I have to pee every time I stand in front of a stage just waiting. It's like, oh my god, I have to go.
I
suck it up.
My entire body shakes and I cold sweat. And I'm like, I will die out there. And then I get on and I get off and I'm like, can I do that again 10 times, please? So, yeah.
Ibelin says that it was a huge difference with attendance number between Spill Expo and GeekCon. I wasn't at GeekCon, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, Spill Expo had a huge attendance number.
It did.
This year.
Giant.
Well, not throw any shade, but GeekCon does have a bit of a less than stellar rep in the cosplay community these days.
I went there the first year and it was a little so-so. Maybe less than so-so.
Let's moving on.
Yes, moving on.
I think maybe I remember the post that Silly made, and I think Aslak made a good comment on it, that it's just there's so many contests now. No wonder that there's less people competing in each of them. When there's you're not gonna compete in all of them every time, because one, that's going to be stressful, and two, you kind of don't want to compete with the same costume all the time. And when there's 3 contests a month, you're not going to make a new one for each of them.
No,
No.
obviously.
No, but then again, those 3 conventions with those 3 contests are not in the same place and don't have the overall same audience. Like, a lot of the people go to all 3 or 2, but there should be a large part of the audience that is new and who are also cosplaying that I wish would be in the competition.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of finding out how to pull those people in. So difficult.
Then we have Mathia in the chat who says that she thinks that people might be intimidated by other better cosplayers. And that's also what keeps people from joining competitions.
That kind of relates to a thing I was going to say, which is I think people have become so stressed out about winning. Like, you can't enter contests unless it's with a chance of winning, and that's a new type of attitude to me, because back when we started, it was more about the fun of going on stage. At least that's the impression I got. And for me and for a lot of people who have competed for many years, it's still kind of, well, I made something new, I just want to show off.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of something someone at NAV told me, that many people don't apply to jobs because they say they are afraid of not getting the jobs. But
they psych themselves out before they even try.
Yeah, and some actually might be afraid of actually getting the job.
Yeah, because what would that mean? It can be scary just winning too.
That's true.
And a lot of responsibilities.
It kind of sounds harsh saying it like this, but like, if you enter only for the chance of winning, then I say you probably enter for the wrong reasons.
Yes.
At least partially, because it's if only the people who had a shot at winning, then realistically you'd have at most 10 people in a contest, and ideally you want at least like 3 times that, and it should be able to go on stage, have fun, and then be happy even if someone else wins.
Yeah, that kind of brings us into the next question. Why should people sign up for cosplay contests?
It's fun.
It is fun.
It absolutely is. And if we think about what we talked about last week, where we talked about...
I'm just going to say one thing. Therese, you're getting a lot of response from that.
Oh,
Everyone's
I can see that.
going like, preach! Yes!
Now just listen to me as well.
Yes, do it!
Yeah. But no, you should compete because it's fun, because, that's the right spirit to do it, not because you really want to win. Unless you are super competitive and winning gives you something, sure, you can do that, but you don't always have to enter a competition just to win. Do it for the experience.
Yes, and it's fun too. I know out of experience.
It is fun. And if you're afraid of performing, maybe do like Cecilia Hansen and Ryrai and all of the other like idol group girls are doing. Join a group and dance and stuff, and practice a bit on performing in front of other people, and maybe that'll make it easier for you when you decide to sign up for something.
Anita, now you're kind of answering the next question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh well. Isn't that good?
Well, we have talked a bit about it, but we can summarize about to people who have stage frights.
Well, what I said.
Yes, join competitions where you can be more people on stage than just yourself. A lot of competitions where you have the show bit also allow you to bring a second person as long as they don't steal your show. And rehearse.
Yes.
Rehearse your skit. Know what you're up there to do. Because that will take away a lot of your fear. You'll still be nervous to go on stage, but at least you're certain about what you're there to do.
If you know your skit in your sleep, if you know the cues by heart, then it's going to make the whole thing a lot easier for you.
Yeah. And related to that, like, you can think about that from the moment you make your skit. Like, one of my tactics has been just the less stuff that can possibly go wrong on stage, the more secure I feel. So, like, when you plan your skit, don't have like a gazillion cues that you need to hit exactly to be able to continue. Just try to make a performance. If you're nervous about getting the audio out, then pre-record your audio. Don't do it live if that's a concern. Be obvious with sound cues. Just make it as easy as possible for yourself to relax about these things.
That is very good advice. Evelyn also says, think about what you can learn from it, and think about what you can do better the next time. Which is also one of the, set your mind to it. Okay, I most likely not going to win. I'm going to do this for the experience so I can learn and do better next time.
I saw that Rirai is also saying that the sad part is that there are not many cons letting bigger groups into the contests. And I'm thinking, like, does it necessarily have to be a contest? Does everything just to show yourself on stage, like the open stage thing that both Bonsai and Torukon does, is like the most epic thing I've seen, and that's not a contest, but it's still really cool, and it lets people show off whatever they want to show off.
We also have a skit contest if you want it to be a contest.
Yeah. Yes.
It's just at some point, because it is a contest and you need judges' criteria, you need it to make sense how it's judged and who wins for what reasons. And when it comes to including groups, that becomes really, really difficult to do it fairly. Because what if the groups have wildly different levels of things? And it becomes more difficult to do it properly in terms of organizing the contest if you allow groups to compete with single individuals.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, you have to separate them. I agree with that. Starwood is saying something really smart. Only compare your work to your own old work, not everyone else's. Be competitive with yourself.
Yes.
I agree very much with that. Because a lot of the time, only you can do what you're doing, and someone you admire might admire you right back. So you don't have to compete with everyone else. It's just psyching yourself and setting yourself up for a fall. It's self-sabotaging, and I know a lot about that. I do it all the time.
You should aspire to be the best of you. Or something.
Yeah. Inspirational moment of the day.
Yeah, and just generally, I think one of the things people seem most nervous about is like being up there in front of people. And just try to imagine yourself as part of the audience. Will you ever judge people or talk badly about the people on stage? Like, that doesn't really happen. Especially at cosplay cons, like, everyone is there to see you and they're gonna love you. And even if you have faults in your costume or things like, oh, I don't feel sure about my seams or whatever, like, they're not gonna see it. Your costume looks perfect on stage. That's the beauty of distance. So, like, there's no need to stress about people judging you, because they legitimately won't.
And a lot, like 3 or 4 people have mentioned in the chat that they really wish there were more drop-in contests. And I can understand that. It's like the gateway drug of cosplay competitions. Just start in the drop-in because it's very casual and laid back, and thus the stakes are not so high. And I won Judge's Favorite the first time I tried it, and I wasn't really thinking I'd win anything. So it's just open for everyone.
Yes.
Then you have more prizes, like Judge's Favorite or Best Prop or Best Makeup or Best, something. So there's a bigger chance of winning, maybe.
JL Cosplay Studio is saying next evolution in contests would be photography contest.
We have that at Bonsai Con.
Ooh! Now you know.
For the con book.
Yes, I remember. I have the con book, actually. Still have it.
Yay! It's a really useful little thing.
Well, yeah, that should definitely be a thing. Cosplay photography, why not?
As like mentions, drop in the death of cosplay organizers. This is so true. Please consider your poor organizers. We work really hard, and sometimes there's a lot to deal with and a lot to register. And that does not happen on a drop-in basis. You need time to prepare.
Yeah. No, for performances you can't do drop-in. I don't think that would be murder.
No, that does not work. Trust me.
No, this is something you do as an
That
individual.
should be reserved for like experienced actors who can stuff.
No, just because you have a tech crew and you have an organizer crew that need to be around to support the cosplayers, and they need something to work with.
Yeah.
Including time.
Depends on if you actually have someone who's there like, no, I love being stressed for about 2 hours. Let me do it.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. But I completely understand that it's an organizational nightmare.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that kind of brings us into a next question. How do you come up with good ideas for a performance, and how do you go about putting it all together? Scenography, music, dialogue, acting, etc.
Imagination. I would say look for inspiration. It depends on how much you have to work with from the character you are. If you're a minor character from anywhere, a character that doesn't do much, that just is there and looks cool, you have a lot less to go for. So then I would say take the essence of what you feel the character is and just do something cool. Like you can do a dance, you can do a monologue, even though that is harder to get inspirational and good. Just do anything. If not, just do a lot of research of what fits your character.
I think I usually start with music. If I don't have an idea from the beginning, I'll just go through my playlists and different playlists that other people have made and try to find not even necessarily the music I'm going to use, just the kind of mood I'm looking for, and whatever feels right in terms of emotionality, and then go from there. And I think it's important to realize that not every cosplay performance needs to be this big theatrical performance. You can just take the audio from the game or from the series and do something about that. And you can make it really simple. But yeah, look at what other people do as well, and don't copy them, obviously, but take inspiration from that.
Well, Sample, you should have something to say about this, because people really loved your performance, even though it was your first time at a contest. You did really well, and you came up with something that was kind of reminiscent of what people had done before, but different enough that it felt new.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to think about if I wanted to recreate a scene, which was kind of difficult because I was alone, like me and an assistant. I couldn't be like 14 people on the stage. So I was kind of thinking, when is he alone in the movie? When can I plot a scene around that? And I was like, I got an idea. And then you kind of just have to figure out if you want a certain feeling or mood you want to set and what you want the audience reactions to be. Look at what other people have done and see if there have been a lot of like funny skits or sad ones. And I feel like a lot of the skits around Keely has been mostly sad about him like dying young and everything. So I wanted to recreate something new, make people laugh and make something funny, and then maybe break their hearts afterwards.
Yeah. It's like a good idea. Cecilia asks in the chat, is it okay to just take the audio from a scene and reenact the scene? Yes, I would say that's completely fine.
It is completely
As long
fine.
as it doesn't do like it's saying.
I would just 5 minutes of monologue from a background character from Sword Kills Space Goat times 45/7 loses the audience and judges instantly and hurts more than it does good. But
I was about to say that.
One of the biggest piece of advice is leave them wanting more in any kind of show or performance. So don't overdo your length. Keep it short, keep it sweet, and other than that, you can really do whatever.
Also, I think it's very
But make sure that everyone can understand what's going on, because not everyone has seen that game or movie, series, book. Understand at least something. So it can't be like a very like inside thing for the fandom, or else not many people are gonna get it, unfortunately.
Practice in front of your friends, so you already have gotten some sort of feedback before you take it to the stage. Then you know what you have to practice more on and what.
Yeah, because you don't have to work in a vacuum. You know, you don't have to do everything on your own. It's okay to ask for help. A lot of people do that all the time.
I think I'll be holding more workshops with Ingrid Beast at some point in Oslo, performance-wise. And also, if anyone just wants to chat, just contact me, and I will always want to chat about cosplay.
Yeah. Likewise, me too. Like, if someone came to me and went like, Celia, do you know anything about this character? Or explain to me a little bit about the character, and they're like, I don't know what to do for performance. I would be like happy to try and figure out something with them.
3 a.m. Celia, please come help me.
Well, I'm always awake at 3 a.m. So yeah, it's actually brilliant time.
We have to be if we're gonna play Mystic Messengers.
Yes, exactly.
Issy Francesca is saying that she recently went out at the market as Anna from and a friend of her were Elsa, and it actually helped because they had to interact with the children in character. So just that small exercise helped them with performance, actually.
Yeah, because I mean, Celia, you do the same.
Let's not talk about that.
No. But I mean, you have to be around kids in costume, and do you find that it helps?
A lot. It helps a whole lot. I spent an hour at Spill Expo with one single girl. Being Elsa constantly throughout it. It was great, especially when she told me she had found Ariel. And I told her, oh, say hi to her if you see her. And then she comes, Elsa, I found Ariel. And she comes dragging on Poison Ivy. I'm like, hi, Ariel. Hi, Elsa. That was great. But that helps a lot to just stay in character. Play your character around the house when you're alone. Just do it. It might seem silly to you, but it will help you.
Just talk to yourself.
Yes.
Pretend you have an audience.
Do it.
Off topic, Himedera Cosplay says they had a Christmas Mystic Messenger photo shoot yesterday. So pictures, please. Yes.
Yes.
Ooh.
But yeah, I mean, try to be in character as often as you can. I'm sure that helps a lot with performing. And if you're not very tech savvy and don't know how to put things together yourself, then I bet you have a friend or a relative who knows how to do this and can guide you through it or do it for you in some manners.
There are lots of
Google.
Or just ask Annabella. She's quite good at that.
At what?
Editing.
Oh, tech stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of free, especially audio editing software that you can get for free. That's really good. And there's some decent video editing software out there as well. So you should be able to figure this out, and you'll learn something new, which is great.
Yes, absolutely. Because, I mean, we all have to learn how to do stuff from scratch all the time. I didn't know how to game stream like 2 months ago. I do now. So you just have to take the time and take the initiative to do things on your own. Sometimes.
Yes, speaking of good tips and advice, what should you talk about and how should you present things in front of judges at cosplay competitions?
Right. This one, just make sure you have a plan, because the judges are not mind readers. They cannot see all the details about your costume. They just see what they see on the surface, and it's your job to kind of tell them how that came into being. And one of the easiest ways is just, start from either the top or the bottom and do each piece as you move up or down. Just kind of take a couple of minutes to think before you go into the judges about how you're going to present your costume, because it has a lot to say about the judging results.
Very true.
It's basically a bit like an exam, like an oral exam, where you have been studying your cosplay, and it's what you present. Obviously, the judges will also, if you're not sure, the judges will try and help you.
Yes.
We're there to allow you to present the best of your costume, and that is what we want. We want to see your craft, and we want to know as much as possible about it. So obviously, if you're suddenly there and you're like, I don't remember if I sewed or glued this, I don't remember what fabric is, then the judges will help you. Hopefully. I know at least that's what I try to do.
Yes.
Maybe sometimes they just stare at you and go like, but I've never been in a judges panel like that. So.
Yeah, Yuna says, make a list. I'm all for lists. I'm very pro list because that helps you organize things. And check boxes, that gives me a lot of satisfaction when I can just tick something off. Yes.
But also, before going into prejudging, know how much time you will have in there, because sometimes you have 7 minutes, sometimes you have 2 minutes, and it's a very big difference about what you are able to present. So prioritize. If you don't have a lot of time, pick out what's most important.
Yeah, you don't need to state the obvious, like, okay, use Warbler for this thing. It's like, yeah, they can probably see that.
Like, I didn't make my underwear, okay?
Focus on the things you're the most proud of. Focus on your reasoning. So if you made a choice, especially if you made a creative choice in terms of moving away from the reference image or something like that, that can give you plus points, or it can drag you down, but it will definitely not give you plus points if you don't explain why you did it. So if you decided to go with, say, a different shade of linen because it's something they would have in that historical period, as opposed to what the reference had, and that might give you advantages depending on which content it is. But you gotta tell them what your thought process was.
Yes.
Himedera suggested to bring a folder with reference pictures and progress pictures. Is that a good idea?
Depends on the contest. Most contests at the big cosplay cons would have already asked for that. So
the judges will have reviewed it beforehand.
Yeah. You can bring more, but remember you have a certain amount of time, and you'd rather want the judges to look at your costume than on 1,000 pictures. But if there's a specific detail, then sure, of course.
Yes. Also, don't point out your mistakes. Never.
No.
I did this wrong. Because most of the time when someone has come in and I went, I fucked up on this, I hadn't seen it yet because I'd focused on all the other nice bits thus far. And so when people point out something that is wrong, I just go, oh, okay. So don't point it out. If the judges ask, then you can say, this happened, but next time I will do it this way. But don't point it out.
Yeah. Don't lie, but you don't have to draw attention to your mistakes either.
Don't lie about it.
And sometimes what you may think is a minus can be a plus. Like, oh, that was very creative of you, instead of like, oh, you were lazy. People think differently.
Yes.
Smart solutions count too.
Good advices today. Last advice. What kind of contests do you recommend for absolute beginners?
That completely depends on the person.
Yes. I would say like any level cosplayer can can join the big competition if they feel like it.
Yeah. I mean, I know there's a lot of talk about the same people winning all the time, but if you look at the numbers or who actually wins, that's not actually the case. Like if you just put up a spreadsheet, that doesn't happen as much as people want it to be. And a lot of the people who have placed highly or even won this year have been first-timers.
Yep.
This is true.
Very true.
Yeah, no, I guess that was all of the questions we had.
Yep.
Oh,
right?
Are we not 45 minutes over time?
No, we're not.
Just 5.
Just 5 minutes over time. I don't know if we're aiming for like a reprise of last week. I don't know.
It was fun.
It was very fun. We had a very good time, and a lot of people appreciated that episode. But do you guys have anything more you want to like talk about specifically that you thought about during the show or before you came on that
we have one question? We have one question from Izzy Francesca. She's saying, have you experiences being judged unfairly when it comes to armor versus textile? Or how do you, as judges, do that?
Okay, can I just get this, because that one is one that annoys me so much, because that really doesn't happen. I mean, maybe if you hit a really unbalanced judges panel, that might be a thing, but it's not generally a thing that happens. And I've had people argue both ways so many times, and every time I've just gone through the past cosplay contests in the country and listed up the winners if they focused on armor or fabrics, and it always evens out.
Yeah, it's just about the quality of the craft that is presented. That is all there is.
Because I think a lot of people feel like armor cosplay looks super impressive from a distance, but when you get close, you know, it can turn out to not be as impressive as you might have thought it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially after Warbler became a thing, I think maybe this whole big armors win thing hangs back from back in the day when you couldn't get materials and big armors were really rare because it was way more difficult to make them.
Yeah.
Right now, the whole big dresses always win or big armors always win. It's non-existent. It's just a myth.
Also, Aslak is saying that organizers spend so much hours just to getting the right judges for their conventions.
It's such a pain. You sit worrying for ages trying to get a good panel.
But I very often at conventions, I know that are well organized. I see the diversity in the judges panels, and often with organizers that have less experience, the judges panel won't be as equally, it won't be as diverse. So you really notice when the organizers have a lot of words and they know what they're doing.
Yeah. Experience. Yeah.
I mean, you did at one point, I think, have a discussion about this on one of the big pages where a few people mentioned that you should get people in who aren't cosplayers and who are like actors or work with costumes professionally and stuff. And every serious organizer was sitting just like, no, you cannot do that. They don't know what they're talking about, and they would judge unfairly because they would judge about who they like the most or who does their kind of stuff, or alternatively who does things that they don't know how to do. It's like, no, you need cosplayers to judge.
Yes.
I think there have been 4 times I've judged with people who are not cosplayers, and it has been the most terrible war in the judges panels I have ever been through, and I hated it.
Priorities.
I actually judged once with the costume designer, like the woman who actually does the costumes for Sherlock. I judged at Sherlock, the convention in London, and while that was a really, really cool thing to do, I mean, meeting her, it was really clear that she did not have an impression of what cosplay actually was and what we were looking for. So, I mean, I'm happy with the judging, but I wouldn't have a panel made up of just people like that.
We should just try it and see who wins. Not like bad people would win, obviously, but it would be so different what they would actually.
We should have a judge off. You know, you have 2 different panels judging the same competition, and then you see, okay, how differently would this turn out? That would be ideal.
Fun.
Yes, it would be very interesting. But I think the whole textile versus armor question also bring up the topic of bias, because some people have been grumbling that they're always afraid that Norwegian cosplayers will always have a bias because the community is so small. Personally, I don't believe that, but it has been voiced earlier. And maybe you guys have some thoughts on that?
I want to go back to what Aslak said about organizers spending a lot of time choosing who gets to judge. I mean, if I even hear a rumor that someone is judging with bias, I'm going to research that and be very careful about inviting that person to judge at BanzaiCon. And I know the other series organizers do similar things. And at BanzaiCon, we have like a 3-page document that all the judges are required to read in order to avoid bias. I can't say it's not a thing that can happen, because obviously you can't avoid people being biased, but every step is taken to avoid this, really.
Yeah, I just, like I said last week as well, I just want to find the best costumes. I don't care who made them or who wears them. Like, I hope the person who wears it made it, but it doesn't matter to me who the person is. I just want to see their craft and the costume as good as it is. It can be someone who's I've never seen before. It can be someone who's completely new to cosplaying, but I just want to see cool costumes.
I mean, and this is why you have 3 or 4 people in a judges panel, because you're not going to just have one person saying, "Oh, my friend is going to win," and it's going to be that easy.
Yeah.
And you also have like talks with judges about, avoid bias towards characters you like, or body types, or gender, or anything like that. I mean, we're really careful, and if someone does judge with bias, then that's gonna get out.
Yeah, it is.
And you're not gonna be invited back to judge anywhere, because word spreads.
And besides, like, you're not gonna have one panel of 3 corrupted people who are just gonna sit there and be like, "Ho, let's let that person win." If one person is like trying to do like a shit thing, the other 2 will be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So,
and also, I mean, most judges compete themselves, and we are all like, yeah, if I won because my friend was judging and not because I legitimately had the best cosplaying performance, then I'd be pissed. I would not be happy about that. And I think everyone owes each other and the hobby that kind of respect. And if you get to the point where you're invited to judge, then usually you will have that mindset.
Yeah, and Aslak says that most organizers are friends. You have the whole BroCon thing going on, so everyone knows everything. If someone fucks up, word gets around. So that's...
I mean, we try to be polite about it, and we don't gossip overly much. But yes, if someone is a concern, then we're going to talk about it.
Yeah. Are you okay?
Me?
Yes.
Yes. I just laughed about people being concerned, and I was like, uh-oh. Behave, guys.
Cecilia says, what if you know that a person in the contest has worked so hard but didn't get through the pre-judging, even though you know how much detail they put into their costume? What do you do?
Cecilia, do you mean as a judge or as an outstanding, like just a guest, or as a friend, or what do you do? In what position are you?
Yeah, that's a bit unclear to me.
I'm thinking it's, if I'm reading it right, it's about if you know a friend who's done really well with their cosplay but it didn't get through, and you think that might be because of bias. I'm going to say that you're probably more biased towards your friend being good than the judges are towards them being bad or something like that. And also, just a general note on politeness is never openly criticize who wins or even who gets it on. You can say to your friends, like, I think you deserved to move on, but never say to someone who did, like, you deserved more than that person or that person. Because the difference between the audience and the judges is the judges have seen it up close. They've talked to every cosplayer. They've done a proper evaluation of everyone. And there's so many cosplay contests I've judged, and I've heard people kind of murmur stuff like this, or I was stupid enough to go on 4chan and see comments. It's like, if you're just in the audience, then you don't know. Just because something looks really great from a distance, or even if it looks boring from a distance, the craftsmanship might be
exceptional,
or worse than it looks. Like, you can never tell from just watching the contest on stage.
And Starbit also brings up a good point. Most likely, they all worked hard before the competition.
Yes.
Someone just can't make it through. That's how competitions work. Not everyone can win or go on.
Then Oslok is saying, stop making sense, Starbit. We all know you win because you're my best friend.
And then Starbit says, Oslok, don't let the secret out, damn it.
But I think sometimes it's also just the judges will have a limit of maybe 8 people that they can put in the finale, and they will really have to go through every single detail of all the contestants they've had, and they have to pick the top 8 ones. And that is a hard decision as well as picking the winners. But sometimes they just have a limit, and they can't fill the stage beyond that limit.
I also usually think that choosing who moves on to the second round is worse than choosing the winners.
Yes.
Because everyone is usually so good and everyone deserves it, but it's like you have a certain amount of stage time.
Yeah.
This is true. And in defense of judges, also, sometimes judges will be so impressed by someone that they actually beg to, give that certain someone an honorable mention or something like that, even though it's not a part of the competition, which is what happened to Sample, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we pretty much just walked up to the organizers like, if you don't give us at least one honorable mention, we're going to just sit here and refuse to give you the results.
So sometimes the judges fight hard to let everyone shine, at least in some way or another.
Yeah.
Yes.
Judging can be a war.
Yeah, there are a lot of times where we've been in the audience and like, shit, I'm glad I'm not a judge because I don't know how that would work.
Spill Expo was the worst experience of my life. Like, it was fantastic, but it was so terrible.
I feel bad because they had gone upstairs to judge, and I had we have 4 minutes until you need the results, and I kept nagging them backstage like, no, you need to decide. You need to decide now.
I almost decapitated you.
I'm so sorry.
From losing your life.
It gets heated in the judges' room sometimes. Rainbow Kittens asks, a point that is hotly debated, both in Norway and abroad. What are your thoughts on cosplayers using the same cosplay in many different contests, winning with the same cosplays at many different cons?
Martina!
I have a personal philosophy on this that I'm not going to say everyone should think like that. But personally, I will never... I think of it as having levels. So I'm not going to bring a costume I won at a small con, or no, at a big con, and enter with it at a tiny con. I could say if I won with something or placed with something at, say, Kawaii Con, I would feel okay taking that to Spill Expo. It's just kind of, is it a little local event or is it a big thing? Because I think you can use the same costume multiple times, but maybe not do all the events of the same type. And you can go out of the country and use it again. That's also fair. But yeah, I think it does get boring for the audience and for the other competitors if especially someone who plays first, or also second and third to a lesser degree, keeps going around. But I also don't think you shouldn't bitch about it if people do that, because people put a lot of work and money into these costumes, and I understand the motivation to do that.
And sometimes, even though it might not show to the audience, the cosplayer might have done improvements to their costume from one competition to the next. And that, I think, also validates them for reusing it.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I don't mind if people use the same costume for several contests. But I agree with Martina, like, your reasoning, it seems very fair. And like, for example, Ingrid Beast would never bring Keely to a contest now that she's qualified for the NCC, or, you know, or no.
She did qualify for the NCC.
Yeah. With the costume she qualified for the NCC, which she wouldn't bring to another Norwegian contest again.
I mean,
well, she did bring it to GigaCon, but that was a completely different platform than what she had competed before.
And she asked
it was
on social media if people thought it was okay.
She did.
I think with GigaCon, Spill Expo, The Gathering, they're different types of events with huge prizes, which honestly, are you going to say someone who has put thousands of kroners into their costume are going to say, no, well, we've seen you on stage before, so you can't try for this chance to win like 10,000 kroners?
Yeah, that hardly seems fair.
Kind of unfair. And Ingrid also did so many updates and so much improvement on that costume. It's hardly the same costume as when she started out.
Mm-hmm. She works like a beast.
Yes.
I have seen some costumes that I have seen in competitions before that have placed in the top, and then I've judged them at a similar competition a year after, and I was like, okay, what is new since last time I saw this costume? And there was nothing, and I'm like, okay. But then it's if they still feel that that is what they want to bring to the competition, of course, if no one can match it, I guess it's difficult. It's really hard.
I mean, you gotta just kind of see each situation. Obviously, if someone comes with a really fancy costume and they just wipe the table at multiple events, you're gonna go like, well, let someone else have a shot.
Yeah,
and that's fair, but
it's a bit of a mix between we don't have a rule for it, but it's a bit of like common courtesy.
Well, there's actually is a rule. I know Toricon has a rule, Bonsai-Con has a rule about costumes that have won previously or placed previously in terms of which level of the contest you get to enter at. And so we're trying to make this fair for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just think about what kind of conventions you're bringing the cosplay to, and, you know, just be aware of the situation, and then most likely everything will be fine.
Also, many people who reuse their costumes at least make new like performance. So they bring the character like something different this time, at least.
Yes, that's at least then you make it more interesting for the audience.
Yeah. I like Heresa Tai has brought her Philippa Eilhart to several conventions, and I think she's always done a different performance, even though it's the same costume with upgrades and stuff. She varies the performance too, which is also a good thing.
Yeah,
make it interesting for people to watch.
And I mean, there's actually a big difference between someone who placed with a costume and someone who won first place. Especially if you're one of the people who really want to qualify for the NCC or something like that. Like, if you get honorable mention at a convention, then I get that you would definitely want to try again at a different con and see if you can kind of improve everything enough to go. And honestly, if they keep winning, then that's just because no one else brought something better.
That's a challenge.
Yes.
I think Izzy Francesca mentioned that earlier, you know, that we need competitions because we need people to set a standard, because we all aspire to work towards something, or most of us do. And so as long as you don't put them on a pedestal too much, or idolize someone too much, or deprecate yourself too much, it's healthy to have a competitive environment around you because it pushes you forward.
Yeah. I mean, I'd never gotten to the point where I am today if it wasn't for the contests. I'd never have finished half my costumes if I didn't have a point where it's like, I want to take this to the stage. So yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Someone out there is saying that they would love for Sample to make a YouTube channel and post cosplay stuff. emojis.
Oh, that's the plan.
Yeah, you've been challenged.
I recently bought a new computer and editing software and everything, so I'm gonna make videos soon, hopefully.
Ooh, interesting.
Torius says, I know this is a bit off topic, but I love the charity dance auction at this year's Bonsai, and I hope more cons will do something like this, and that Bonsai will try it next year.
Yes.
We really
so
liked
too.
it, at least.
I didn't get to be auctioned off, and I was sad.
Next
You
year.
need more people in the audience, though, because it was kind of, we didn't have as many people in the audience as we would like, although that might be because it was quite early on Friday.
Yeah.
No, it
Yeah,
was
I
late.
think so,
but
too.
Change it to Saturday.
But Saturday, we have so much program. Have you seen
Well,
the
maybe.
Saturday program? There's no more stage room.
No, this is true. It's tough to fit it into a convention, and Friday is a tough day to get a big crowd for something like that,
Yeah.
I think.
But
Yeah.
since this was a hit and the people who were there had so much fun, that might draw people to come for that next year.
It might. But Friday is always difficult, I feel, because it's the less populated day.
Let's see. Izzy says, what is annoying is how people say they don't care for contests, then rant on about how unfair they are, etc. How some people are elite, so on and so on. Spend your time working, not ranting. Yes.
Claudius is also saying that he got auctioned off, but his dance partner disappeared. But if I remember correctly,
He was Hans.
He was Hans from Frozen, and he did an awesome job at the Disney sing-along, I think.
Yes, you were so
Yeah.
good, Julius. It was
Yes.
amazing.
We were like, this is so perfect! Oh
Yes.
my god! It was amazing. So, if someone hasn't told you that before, now it's on the internet forever.
I totally remember you, dude.
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Loved it.
Yes.
About the comment about people complaining when they say they're not really into it. I mean, there has been a lot of legitimate concerns about cosplay contest race, and there has been a lot of like actual things that have been needed to talk about, which is really good. There has also been a couple of examples of people who just seem slightly throwing shade for no reason. Or maybe sore losers, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to like throw that label at someone. It's just that, you know, people are having fun, organizers are trying really hard, and you gotta kind of meet us halfway.
And also, if you capture somebody speaking shit about competitions or something somewhat, it's like what we said last week, please just intervene and say like, hey, why are you being shady? There's no reason being shady.
Mm-hmm.
Don't spread rumors and don't talk shit, because that just feeds negativity, and it's not good.
Yeah, because
Particularly,
want it.
yeah, particularly never tell anyone or say out loud to anyone but like the friend in question that, oh no, I think you should have won, or I think the person who won didn't deserve it, especially the last one, because I've heard that a number of times, and it is such a bad thing to say. It is so hurtful. It doesn't do anything good for anyone, and just do not do that, please.
We don't want it. We don't want it. Someone out there, this is also a bit off topic, but it's probably a question we're happy to answer. I've never made a cosplay before, but would die to make one. Do you have any tips on how to start? I can't sew at all, like seriously.
Google.
Yes, Google is your friend, and YouTube is your friend. I couldn't sew either. I bought my sewing machine and basically had to teach myself how to thread it.
Yep.
And now I can make dresses and skirts and whatever. So
We all start out
we all
not
start
knowing
out.
what we're doing.
You just have to start somewhere. But if you're more of a builder, maybe buy yourself some Warbler and some foam and play around with that. Because we all have different strengths. Some are good with makeup and wigs. Some are good with sewing. Some are good with building things. Some are good with electronics. So you just have to find what really gets you excited and then do that.
Also Pinterest.
Also Pinterest, yes.
Yes. Seriously, there's so many tutorials out there these days. I mean, back when me and Celia started, Search far and wide for each tutorial, and no way would you find. Yes. No way would you find like a specific tutorial, but yeah.
Cosplay meetup.
Yes.
Yes.
In Oslo at Bitra.
14th.
In 10 days.
Yes, the 14th. Yeah, everyone can show up there. There's a Facebook event for the thing. I'll try to find a link for it and put it in the show notes so people can find it if they want to, because there will be a lot of cosplayers there, and they are very eager to talk to people who want to know more about cosplay and who want to improve.
Yeah, the thing about all those like really big cosplay nerds that we talked about last week is that they are all really nerdy about cosplay. Big surprise. And if you start talking to them about cosplay, they will just go on for hours.
Yeah, they will.
We all love it.
Like we are doing right now.
Right.
Yes.
Also, cardboard is awesome. So use cardboard. You can do a lot of interesting stuff with cardboard.
Yes.
Just look for Starbit's channel and look at her pictures, and you'll know what she's talking about. Oh yeah, Torjus Cosplayer says we're having a Christmas cosplay meetup in Kristiansand next Saturday. So if you live there, you should definitely talk to Torjus and figure out how to get there and when it is and stuff.
Yes.
And I can.
And then we have Torjur in Trondheim.
Oh yes, you do.
Which is last year it was on the 29th of December, so it's probably somewhere, around that this year too.
Awesome.
So
I wish I lived in Trondheim for that.
Okay, and so we probably have to round off the episode now because people are probably getting tired and have work tomorrow.
You just
and school
want dinner
tomorrow.
again, don't you?
I want to go back to playing Dragon Age.
Yes.
Overwatch.
Yes, but before we cut off, I forgot to mention this in the news segment, but Silje Danielsen and Hulda Elira are making Christmas videos for charity. So you should definitely talk to them about that because they're amazing. They're giving all of the funds to sick children in the hospital who can't go home for Christmas. So just look up Silje Danielsen and you'll figure out what it's all about.
Thank you.
Yes. I supported it last year and it was money well spent. Absolutely.
Thank you for the support.
Yes. Okay, so yeah, I hope you guys had fun today. I hope you guys learned something today and thought that we handled the topic well because we really wanted to do that. And yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Next Sunday is the last episode of the season, so we'll be talking about some of the highlights we had, and we'll be choosing a winner for our Christmas contest, and I think we will be unwrapping Christmas presents that we gave to each other because we did this last year and people seemed to like it, so we're going to do that.
Yep.
Yes, so it'll be super fun. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next Sunday, and bye-bye.
Bye.